This video is about solving a dependent system. So dependent means that what it probably means initially there might have been three equations, but one of them canceled out. In any case, the end result is that one of your rows is all zeros like this. There's no information there. So we've still got three variables, right? Like this is probably the x, y, and z, or maybe x1, x2, and x3, but we don't have information in the third row here, okay? So on the assumption that this is x, y, and z, here's how you solve this when you get to the end, right? So in the beginning, all the previous steps until you get to this point are the same for a dependent system as for an independent one, with everything working, okay? But when you get to here, the end is different. Since you don't know anything from this bottom row, right, what you normally would be looking for is values for x, a value for y, and a value for z. Well, for z, we're just going to use z, okay? So in other words, if there's going to be an ordered triple, we're going to stick z in for the z, okay? And then we will go ahead and back solve. All right, you ready? So sticking z in for z, looking at the second equation here, right? Working with the second, turning that back into an equation. So that one has y minus z equals minus 5. Then solve for y. Y equals z minus 5. So that's what we have for y, okay? It's a little bit off. It's different, right? It's got the z in it, but since we don't have a value for z, it's the best we can do. Then we go back up to the first equation, and that first one says x minus 2y plus z equals 7, right? Then we're going to stick this z minus 5 in for y. X minus 2 times z minus 5 plus z equals 7. All right. Just multiply that out. X minus 2z plus 10 plus z equals 7. X minus z plus 10 equals 7. Subtract the 10 from both sides. X minus z equals minus 3. Add the z, x equals z minus 3, right? So now we have an x and a y. And then our end ultimately, so our ordered triple then, for x, it's z minus 3. For y, it's z minus 5. And then for z, it's just z. All right. If somehow you also had zeros in the second row, then you'd put in z for z and y for the second row for the y, and then you'd solve x in terms of y and z. But the questions we're going to get generally just look like this, okay? So this would be the answer to this question, right? And again, if you get one like this to solve, in the beginning it'll look just like a regular question, right? It's just that once you get down to this point where you got zeros, then instead of, this is how you back solve basically, right? You just stick z in for z and then back solve. All right, that's it for this one.